Due to circumstances beyond our control, Wake Up Wenatchee Valley has safely arrived live on these very airwaves. I am Dan Kuntz. It is Tuesday, the 9th day of April 2019. Thanks for starting your day with us here on the NCW Live channel. We hope you end your day with us by watching the news or watching high school baseball tonight or just watching local programming by local people who occasionally know what they're doing. Luckily, in the back half of the hour, I had a conversation with two people who very much know what they're doing. Talking about Lance Merz and John Fairbanks. They're the code compliance officers for the city of Wenatchee. And of course, their big annual recycling day is coming up this Saturday. So if you are a citizen of the city of Wenatchee, this is a big day. It's the perfect time to clean out the junk and clean up your yard and take all that stuff that you really don't know what to do with down to the recycling event. It'll be recycled. It's the cost is really good, like free. We'll talk about that with John and Lance coming up in the back half of the show. The Mariners keep rolling right along. We got ourselves a baseball team here. Who thought that at the beginning of the year? Mariners won again. They beat Kansas City. We'll talk about that. We'll also have all the latest prep results. We have a national men's basketball champion that was crowned last night in Minneapolis. We'll mention that when we get to sports. We have, of course, the news, quite a bit of news to get to. On this Tuesday, we'll do the obscure holiday, birthdays, today in history. Everyone is entitled to Mike McNally's opinion, and a very windy day today. By the way, before we go anywhere, we set another record for rainfall. Yeah, we did it yesterday. We had 0.21 inches of rain that fell on Monday. Ironically enough, it fell early Monday morning and then late Monday evening, and during the day yesterday when we were out and about, we didn't really have any rain, but the combination of those two big rainstorms that came in about 12 hours apart gave us 0.21 inches of rain, which broke the old record, which wasn't much. The old record was 0.10, a tenth of an inch of rain. That's not a lot of rain, but we broke it anyway. That happened back in 1993, so it was the wettest April 8th since they started keeping track of these things. Just thought I'd throw that out there. The big weather story today is going to be the wind. It's going to be quite gusty this afternoon. Just a reminder on that if you're going to be out and about this afternoon. Going to be windy. Some forecast details are coming up, but the first thing we'd like to do is take, and for a lot of people, they tell me this is their favorite part of the whole show, was right at the very beginning when we hook up our high-definition cameras and take a tour of the Wenatchee Valley. And we're starting to really green up now. Have you noticed that? Over the weekend, I was out and about, and I noticed normally this is the time of the year where all the hills, because they got all that moisture and the wildflowers and everything starts popping up and we get real green with Mother Nature's fertilizer. It's finally happening now. As you can see, we're starting to green up just in the last couple of days. Maybe it's the rain that we had, so that's good, and we want the hills all nice and green for as long as possible. Beautiful view of the Wenatchee Valley. It looks like the Columbia is just a little on the high side on the banks. I'm just spitballing here, but it looks a little bit higher than it has been over the last few days. That's just my observation. I could very well be wrong. It's happened many times. Happens about 50 times a day. Camera 2, Megan says, let's go see. Oh, and she told me this, and now I forgot. Waterville? Hey, it's the Waterville camera. We moved it. We can move these cameras. We can move these cameras wherever the heck we want to move these cameras. So, boy, there's still a lot of snow up in that area. This is one of our highest cameras. The Waterville Plateau is a little over 4,000 feet in elevation. And you have the fact that this is on a tower, which is a few hundred feet in the air. That's way up there. And this is how this whole Sky-Fi internet system works. If you have a house like out there, you have a cabin or something like that, if you can point a dish to that dish where that camera is, you can get high-speed internet. Pretty cool. No fiber. Give local telecall. They'll walk you through all the details, let you know if you are, again, there goes a little red car on its way to wherever. Camera number 3 is off to the Butte. Is that right? The Butte? That Chelan Butte? Okay, good. Good stuff. Thank you, Megan. That looks like, correct me if I'm wrong, but we are looking back at the Waterville camera in a way. I guess we are. Yeah, we are. We're kind of looking back at the camera that you just saw. So that's the Waterville Plateau in the middle of your screen. Look at that one lonely little fog bank hanging around there. And he won't be hanging around much longer. And unlike the Waterville camera that you just saw, there's like no snow there, even though this is about the same elevation, maybe a few hundred feet closer to Mother Earth and the Waterville camera that we just saw. Camera 4 is a slow dissolve to Bill E. Goat. Probably everybody's favorite camera. Now on a clear day, it's not quite clear enough for you to see, but on a clear day you would be able to see Canada from this view. This is our highest camera. It's over 7,000 feet in elevation. The Alta Lake Golf Course is completely free of snow. I wonder if they're open. I got to give them a call. That's one of my favorite tracks is the Alta Lake Golf Course. First of all, it's a beautiful drive. Usually we go all the way up to Winthrop and then have lunch in Winthrop. Then we drive back down through Twisp and Methow along the Methow River and then pop up to Alta Lake and get in a quick 18. You can see Pateros. You can see Brewster. Can't see Bridgeport. It's tucked behind the ridge there. And Gamble Sands, one of the best golf courses in the Pacific Northwest. I wonder how they're doing. I know I'm talking golf because we're so far behind on the golf season. Kind of makes me go from being a jerk to make me go to a bigger jerk. Anyway, there's our tour from around North Central Washington, courtesy of Sky-Fi. All right, let's see here. Got to push the button. So we're 6 minutes after the hour. Let's take a look at the weather forecast. We got a weather smorgasbord for you for the rest of the week. Right now, it's fairly cloudy. That's going to change. Gradually, the sun will be coming out. By noon, it'll be mostly sunny skies. By 2, all the clouds will be gone because there's a system that's coming in. It's going to knock these clouds out of here. That high of about 60, just about normal. But it's going to be breezy and then windy. Breezy this morning, northwest wind about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Later on this afternoon, 17 to 22 miles an hour. And between 5 and about sunset tonight at about 7:42, the winds will be gusting above 30 miles an hour. So that's the story today. Lots of sunshine this afternoon, but lots of wind too. Wind will not be dying down tonight. Clear skies, 41 for the overnight low, but the wind will be consistent. Northwest wind, 11 to 18 miles an hour overnight tonight, and windy again on Wednesday. Clouds will be thickening up, especially Wednesday afternoon. West wind, 8 to 11 miles an hour, gusts above 30 at times on Wednesday. Wednesday night we calm down, partly cloudy, 41 for the overnight low. Thursday, partly sunny, slight chance of some light rain, high of 57. Friday looks great. Lots of sunshine, 63 degrees, and just in time for the weekend. There's a lot of weekend activities going on. Saturday, mostly cloudy, could see some rain, high of 59. Sunday, partly sunny, and a high of 58, and then back to mostly cloudy skies and a chance of rain on Monday. So it's going to be windy today. Again, the sun will be coming out pretty soon, and then after that, as we get deeper and deeper in the day, less and less clouds, more and more sun, but a lot of wind. 13 hours and 18 minutes of daylight today. That increases by about 2 minutes a day until we get all the way to June 21st, the first day of summer, and then the days get shorter, but we don't want to talk about that. Nope, what we have to talk about next is the news, and it's 1 minute away. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, live this morning from Studio 4 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Life Channel. Family roles change with time. You may find yourself being an unpaid caregiver to a loved one. Caregiving can be rewarding, but also stressful. Taking care of yourself is vital. Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington has low or no cost services for unpaid caregivers, such as in-home support, care supplies, and counseling. Connect in your local area by calling Aging and Adult Care at 800-572-4459 and mention you're interested in caregiver support.
What's your Automocha emergency?
It's a Frappuccino mocha with whip.
The espresso shakes are my most favorite because I can get any flavor. Peanut butter chocolate for pita.
Definitely the espresso shakes.
My favorite is the mocha for pitas.
A peach Red Bull.
Welcome back on this Tuesday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I'm Dan Kuntz, 9 minutes after the hour. High clouds and 45 degrees. The sun will be coming up later on today. Lots of wind and a high of about 60. Here's what's making news on this Tuesday. Washington State Fish and Wildlife has confirmed a new wolf pack has been identified in an area that includes Chelan and Kittitas counties. The agency released its annual wolf population report on Friday. The report says there's one breeding pair of wolves living in the Nahim Ridge area between Blewett Pass and Mission Ridge. Ben Malitsky is a biologist with the Washington State Department of Fish and Wildlife. He says the predators were observed north of Ellensburg, but he said they probably traveled into Chelan County to hunt. The report also says the wolf packs in the North Cascades recovery area, which includes part of Chelan County, has 3 successful breeding pairs. The report also revealed the first wolf pack in western Washington was confirmed in Skagit County. with the discovery of a breeding male and female. The agency says the state's wolf population is healthy and in 2018 increased to 126 animals. Speaking of the outdoors, U.S. Forest Service has released its list of areas targeted for prescribed burns this spring and summer. Controlled burns, of course, are used to help reduce forest fuels that could result in large wildfires. Prescribed burns planned on the Chelan, Aniat, Lake Wenatchee, and the Wenatchee River Ranger districts, all in Chelan County. Residents and visitors can expect to see and smell some smoke each day during the burning operations. Okanagan and Wenatchee National Forest Fire Management Officer Rob Allen says more than 10,000 acres are planned for treatment forest-wide, weather and fuel conditions permitting. Well, the 6-year-old girl who fell into an icy Rock Island pond back on February 21st is well on her way to a full recovery as she begins rehab at Seattle Children's Hospital. According to her mother, Rihanna Rosenberg, who spent almost 20 minutes under the water, has only one chest tube remaining after having her IV stand removed on Sunday. It's been a long and difficult recovery for the girl. Sean Ballard of Ballard Ambulance visited Rihanna last week, said a month ago doctors feared the worst. Ballard delivered get well cards written by the local kids at that March 26th fundraiser at Blue Spoon Yogurt in East Wenatchee. Rihanna smiled as they were read to her, and she clutched them to her chest, saying, quote, "How do they all know my name?" End quote. Meanwhile, her mother, Becca Shelton, is due to give birth to her third child any day now. In fact, she could be induced on Thursday, again, according to Mr. Ballard. Well, a Moses Lake man was apparently high on meth and hallucinating when he called police Saturday to say someone was trying to break into his home and kill him. Moses Lake Police Department says things got very real very soon for 25-year-old Trevin McLemore after deputies discovered there was a warrant out for his arrest. McLemore fled on foot to the 3800 block of Lakeshore Drive, tried to enter a neighbor's home, then he fled again. Police released a canine, Edo, who tracked McLemore for about a half an hour before finding him hiding in shrubbery near Lakeshore and Battery Road. His encounter with Edo required a trip to the hospital, and then McLemore was booked in the Chelan County Jail. And finally this morning, taking a peek at the NCW Life magazine, airing all this week, it's spotlighting the Chelan School of Innovation. The pilot school uses a big picture learning model to bring new culture to the classroom.
So my name's Alan Simmons, and I'm an advisor here at Chelan School of Innovation. So it kind of got started out of necessity for a different option. The traditional alternative school was, they kind of started to get a really low graduation rate. So the district was looking for kind of a different option for kids that would provide them maybe more opportunity to graduate. So it was kind of an idea of a lot of different people, including the other advisor and principal, Eric. They came up with it, and it's based on big picture learning. So it's kind of based on that model, and we've kind of taken it from there. It's really a student-based learning system where each student crafts an individualized learning plan, and then they follow that plan kind of with the guidance of their advisor throughout the whole year. And it's really heavily focused on project work and career-based kind of learning, and really preparing students for kind of real-world applications and jobs.
Well, the goal is to put kids in the driver's seat in a personalized learning model like ours. Much of what they do is based on who they are and what they want to do and what their interests are. And beyond that, we require them to do internships and work with mentors in the community to help give them some real-world skills and applications.
So we get, kids who maybe struggle a little bit academically at the main high school just with the system of it, We get kids who, maybe have had bullying problems, been bullied at the high school, and they want a smaller kind of family type environment, which is what we try to have here. And then we get kids who, they want something different, or they really know what their career is going to be and they want to just hone in on it. So we get kids like that, and this is a great place for them. So we've got people making video games. We've got a group of students running a greenhouse, and they're going to sell plants at Earth Day. We've obviously got the cold brew coffee going on. We've got students doing organic lip balm and organic soap. There's all kinds of stuff. Yeah, it kind of runs the gamut.
Our first year, a couple students were interested in bicycles and bike repair, and so we actually ended up connecting with a community member who ran a bike shop, and he ended up turning his business over to the school and donating all his tools and mentoring the kids on how to run a business. And so what the students did was they would fix bikes in the community and give them to kids. So it was pretty cool. It had a kind of philanthropic aspect to it too.
That's good stuff. We have new editions of the NCW magazine each and every week. You can watch it on this very television station. You can also watch it by going to our website at ncwlife.com. It's good stuff produced by our very own Caitlin Heddersheet. Hey, thanks for you guys, because we got to 16,000 followers on our Facebook page. So yesterday for lunch, the bosses bought us all pizza. Yeah, we all got pizza for lunch because you guys like us, or you like our Facebook page. Anyway, I didn't think that went all the way through, did I? Look at the bottom of your screen. That's the various ways for you to get a hold of us. Go to our Facebook page and follow us. Maybe we'll get another pizza when we get to 20,000, or steak, or lobster, or something like that. Go to our Facebook page, check it out. We're posting things there all the time. Our website's available for you to peruse as well. Just bookmark it, check it out, ncwlife.com. You can use our Facebook page and our website to get a hold of us as well. You can private message us, or you can contact us via our contact us icon. You can email us, news@ncwlife.com. We got a Twitter handle. We got a telephone. We have a song in our heart. It's a pretty good group around here. And don't forget the news with Grant Olson. Grant in the anchor chair also handles the weather forecasting. Eric Granstrom with sports. The news, the nightly news at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock right here on the NCW Live channel. Also available on our website, again, just about 5 o'clock in the evening, so you can watch the evening news whenever you darn well feel like it, and a lot of people do. It's 18 minutes after the hour. We're going to take a 1-minute break. When we come back, sports, the obscure holiday, today in history, birthdays. Everyone is entitled to Mike McNaughty's opinion, and then John and Lance, the two code enforcement compliance officers for the city of Wenatchee, will be dropping by talking about their job, which is pretty fascinating, all things considered, and also the big recycling day going on this weekend. All of that between now and 8 o'clock. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
My name is Brian Thorpe. I own Global Car Care in Wenatchee and have been here for about 25 years.
Brian started Global Car Care as Brian's automotive alternative on Orondo Street.
Some customers were following Brian since Brian's automotive time.
No, we're just grateful to be part of this community. This is where I grew up. We want to do our part to be a valuable part of this community. We want to thank you for trusting our business for 25 years.
Did you know that dental disease is the #1 illness affecting a pet's health? Bacteria from the mouth gets carried into your pet's blood and can affect the heart, lungs, and kidneys. By age 3, nearly 75% of pets have some form of dental disease. Dr. Shauna Bass and the staff at Paws and Claws Veterinary Hospital care about your pets, and good dental care can help your pet live a long and happy life. Learn how to clean your pet's teeth or see what Paws and Claws can do to keep your pet smiling by calling 888-PAWS or see us on the corner of 4th and Island, East Wenatchee.
Welcome back. 19 minutes after the hour on this Tuesday. Sports, we're going to call them the Crooked Numbers Bunch. The Mariners putting up 8 runs in the 6th inning, including 2 home runs in the inning by Edwin Encarnacion, en route to a 13-5 win over Kansas City on Monday. Also going deep for Seattle, Daniel Vogelbach for the 4th game in a row. Rookie Brandon Moore, his first homer ever in the major leagues. And Jay Bruce, his 6th of the year, 3rd in his past 2 games. So with their 5 home runs on Monday, the Mariners have now hit a major league record 32 home runs in their first 12 games. 25 times in 12 games now, the Mariners have put crooked numbers on the board. A crooked number is anything other than a 0 or a 1. They did it another 3 times on Monday, including 8 runs in the 6th. That broke open that 4-4 tie. Seattle starter Felix Hernandez, he exited with an illness after allowing 2 runs in the first inning. These 2 teams play again today at 5:15. Marco Gonzalez against Jacob Junis. How about those Mariners? Former Washington State coach Tony Bennett is a national champion. His Virginia Cavaliers defeating Texas Tech for the NCAA title last night, 85-77. in overtime. DeAndre Hunter led the way for Virginia, 27 points, including a three-pointer to help send it into overtime, into the three and the extra frame to ice the game. The first national championship for Virginia in school history. All right, to the Les Schwab Prep scoreboard from Monday at the Moses Lake Country Club. The Wenatchee Panthers boys golf team played through cold, difficult conditions, but they won. They got first place in the Big Nine Pod, number 3 yesterday. Wenatchee finished with a 349, Eastmont second with a 372. Medalist honors went to Ray Park of Davis, shot an 80. Eastmont's Jacob Birdley was second with an 81. Wenatchee's Troy Stegman third with an 82. Boys soccer. In Western Washington Monday, the Wenatchee Panthers won a non-league match at Mount Si, the final 4-0. Lots of soccer on the schedule today. Chelan's at Kashmir, Okanagan hosts Cascade, Manson's at Tenasket. They're all at 4:30. Under the lights down in Sunnyside, it's Eastmont taking on the Grizzlies down south at 7. On the prep baseball schedule today, the Eastmont Wildcats host the Eisenhower Cadets, 4 o'clock, Dan Whitefield. Our cameras will be there. Joel Norman on the play-by-play, and we'll play it back at 7 o'clock tonight. Also today, Chelan hosts Kashmir. Waterville Mansfield plays at Bridgeport. Both of those start at 4:30. There's your prep fast pitch softball schedule. 4 games get going at 4:30. Soap Lake at Manson, Waterville Mansfield at Bridgeport. Chelan hosts Kashmir. Cascade travels to Omak. Eastmont and Eisenhower will get going at 6 o'clock tonight. Everybody onto the courts, the tennis courts this afternoon. Eastmont's at Moses Lake. Wenatchee hosts West Valley at 3. At 4, Chelan at Kashmir. Cascade hosts Okanagan. And Norville plays at Antioch. We got girls golf today. Wenatchee will host Eastmont and the rest of the Big Nine for another pod, the third of the year, at Three Lakes Golf Course this afternoon at 1 o'clock. The Chelan boys and girls travel to Okanagan at 2:30. And this is rare, don't see this too often, a Tuesday track meet. Yeah, Antioch, Chelan, Kashmir, Cascade, Tenasket, and Omak will gather for the Brewster Relays beginning at 4 o'clock. And those are just some of the games that people are playing. On this Tuesday, it is the 9th day of April. It is the second Tuesday of April, which means it is always Be Kind to Lawyers Day. Yes, celebrate Be Kind to Lawyers Day. Lawyers get a bad rap. Undeserved, I think. They are essential to the inner workings of society and the justice system. I have a dog in this hunt. My dad was a lawyer. My brother is a lawyer. I have lawyers. I've been sued. I have sued others. So I guess, we want to dispel the myth that lawyers play no constructive role in society. It's not true. Although I am reminded of the joke that Ronald Reagan used to tell all the time. He said, what do you have when you have a lawyer buried up to his neck in dirt? And the answer is not enough dirt. It's not true. Lawyers are good people. Most of them are, anyway. Hug a lawyer today. It's National Be Kind to Lawyers Day today. Now that's an obscure holiday. 24 minutes after the hour. 1, 2, 3, 4 items today in history, including a big one. That marks the end of the Civil War, pretty much. That's the only known photograph of the surrender, by the way, at Appomattox. There's no photograph, of course. Robert E. Lee and his Army of Northern Virginia, about 27,000 troops, surrendered to Ulysses S. Grant at the Appomattox Courthouse in Virginia. It effectively ended the Civil War. Grant was very kind to the officers of the Confederacy, says you can keep your sidearms, you can keep your horses, we're not going to charge you with treason, you can go back to your farms and plant the crops because it's spring and you need to do that. Here's a bunch of food, Robert E. Lee, because we know your guys are starving. Robert E. Lee said that the way that Ulysses S. Grant behaved at the surrender ceremony did a lot towards reconciling this country. The famous event happened on April 9th, 1865. Today is the 80th anniversary of Marian Anderson singing at the Lincoln Memorial. She was supposed to play at the Constitution Hall, which is run by the Daughters of the American Revolution, but they weren't going to have a black female sing in their fine facility. So Eleanor Roosevelt stepped in and said, you know what? The Lincoln Memorial is a national park, and I can do something about that. So we'll just let you sing outside to an integrated audience. And she did on this date, 80 years ago. There's a lot of YouTube clips of this, and by the way, it's a must-watch. It's good stuff, happened 80 years ago today. Today is the 60th anniversary of the legendary Mercury 7. Project Mercury. NASA announced the first 7 astronauts. They were quickly dubbed the Mercury 7. They were Scott Carpenter, Gordon Cooper, John Glenn, Gus Grissom, Wally Schirra, Alan Shepard, and Deke Slayton. They have all, of course, passed away. John Glenn was the last of the Mercury 7, and that is the only photograph they ever took of all 7 of them together in their spacesuits. That happened 60 years ago today. And 54 years ago today, the 8th wonder of the world, the Astrodome, opened for business. April 9th, 1965, it was a baseball game, the very first indoor baseball game ever played, an exhibition game between the Houston Astros, who had just changed their name to the Astros because of their brand new home. They took on the New York Yankees. Mickey Mantle hit the first ever indoor home run. President Lyndon Johnson was there. The Yankees won 2-1. The original Astrodome, as it opened in 1965, had a glass roof and a natural grass field, even though it was a dome. It was an indoor stadium. The idea was if we had a glass roof, the sun would shine, the grass would grow, and it would be fine. Well, the players couldn't see the fly balls. The ball would pop up, and they would just lose it completely in the glare of the lights, of the glass. So they painted over the glass so they could see the fly balls, and then the grass died. And then they put in artificial turf, which became known as AstroTurf. All of that happened, not all of that, but the dome itself opened on April 9th, 1965, and it's still there. They don't use it anymore. It's just still there. You got to figure out something there. Birthdays, Paul Robeson, one of my favorites. He could do it all. He was a singer. He was an actor. He was an athlete. He was an activist. He was educated at Rutgers, went to Columbia Law School. As an African American, that was a remarkable achievement. He was class valedictorian. He was a 2-time consensus All-American in football at Rutgers. Then he went into acting and he went into singing. He was an activist. When he died in 1976, he was all but forgotten. But to me, the story of Paul Robeson is one of the most fascinating stories of America. He was born in the state in 1898, died pretty much broke and forgotten in 1976 at the age of 77. But I remember Paul Robeson, and I remember Seve Ballesteros as well, the great Spanish golfer and architect. We lost Seve 8-9 years ago of brain cancer at the age of 54. Won more than 90 tournaments worldwide. He won the British Open, or now the Open Championship as they call it, 3 times, 2 times a Masters champion, and one of the greatest golfers ever, Seve Ballesteros, born in the state in 1957. Still got Mike McNally's opinion to get to, but a friendly reminder about Campbell's Resort up at Lake Chelan. You're running out of time to take advantage of this destination deal that we put together with Campbell's. This is for locals only. So if you live in North Central Washington, you give Campbell's a call, say, hey, me and my wife or me and my girlfriend or me and the friends want to come up and spend a couple of days at Campbell's before the crowds come. We can chill out, drink some wine, eat some gourmet food, enjoy the beautiful views of Lake Chelan. And rooms start at just $95 a night, but you got until now and April 15th, and that's it. April 16th, it goes away. So you got less than a week to take advantage of it. Give Campbell's a call. Ask about the locals rate. And when I mean locals, I mean you live around here, not that you're crazy. Glad I got that out of the way. We're going to take a break. When we come back, everyone is entitled to Mike Mignotti's opinion. Then we're talking about the big Wenatchee recycling event this Saturday. Lots happening in the next half hour. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Dear Mary Maids, just got home from a trade show and I didn't have time to pick up the house. Kids made chili. Jeff did a mud run. Oh, and Winston shredded Teddy's bed. Again, please clean it the best you can. Oh, except for the statue Max made for me. Thanks, Abby.
Hi, Abby. Clean kitchen, clean bath, clean floor, naughty cat. Poor Teddy. The statue is precious. You should keep it forever. See you next time, Mary Maids.
Oh, that's awesome. Look at that. Yeah.
There he is. Sure wish he was here.
Yeah, no kidding.
Little 4-point.
It's a nice coconut.
Solid fish.
Watch the Northwest Outdoorsman with Richie Herod Saturdays and Sundays at 6 a.m., 9:30 a.m., and 4:30 p.m. on the NCW Life channel.
Corey here from Rose Tractor, your local Cub Cadet dealer. We've got the all-new Cub Cadet Ultima zero-turn mowers in stock, and they are awesome. The Ultima is like no other zero-turn you've seen. With a box tube frame and available Kawasaki engine, it has unmatched strength and performance, cutting up to 50% faster than lawn tractors. You have to see the Cub Cadet Ultima to believe it. Come on down and experience the Cub Cadet Ultima today.
SkillSource specializes in assessing and guiding youth, adults, and laid-off workers who want to improve their skills. Here you can attend in-depth workshops to assess skills and interests, make career plans, and learn computer basics.
Learning centers provide eligible youth and adults individualized computer-assisted basic education. Vocational training is arranged with approved providers like community colleges or on the job with businesses.
Don't wait any longer. Let's get working on the future you've been dreaming about.
No matter what the season is, the weather is always fine at Wenatchee Valley Mall. Come explore the stores today. Wenatchee Valley Mall in East Wenatchee and online at WenatcheeValleyMall.com.
Hey, this is Mike, Mad Dog McNaughty, and everybody's entitled to my opinion. No wonder women are angry, and no wonder they're speaking out. For far too long, we've ignored the fact that women have been abused and harassed at the hands of some men. And yes, maybe it's not you, but it's somebody. Official stats used to be that 1 in 4 women would be sexually assaulted to some degree by the time she graduated high school. But in reality, this statistic is far too conservative. But even accepting that it's 25% of women who suffer this abuse, isn't that conservative figure a justifiable explanation for why women are speaking out and demanding change? Of course it is. This is Mike, Mad Dog McNaughty, and that's my opinion.
When you have to get there on time and looking good, call Fast, Friendly, Reliable AC Checker, 663-TAXI. Available 24/7, AC Checker Taxi has the industry's only on-time or it's free guarantee for your pre-booked call. Some conditions apply. Call 663-8294. AC Checker, 663-TAXI. Schedule your ride ASAP or book up to a year in advance online at acchecker.com. American Classic Checker Taxi, 663-TAXI. That's 663-8294.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
I'm working today.
I have got some work to do today.
Don't forget, I've got some work for you today.
Have a good first day at work, Mom.
Thanks.
Your donations to Goodwill fund job training programs right in our community.
New beginnings feel great, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Be a job creator. Goodwill. There's more behind the store.
I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCW Life channel.
I'm Eric Grandstrom with NCW Life Sports.
I'm NCW Life News Director Steve Hare.
Catch us on Local-Tel Channel 12.
You can watch us on Charter Channel 19 or stream us live on ncwlife.com.
Follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook.
Where we cover the local high schools, the Wenatchee Wild, and the pro teams out of Seattle.
On Saturday, we have a 90% chance of rain.
Catch it all right here on the NCW Life channel.
Welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Dan Kuntz. The two gentlemen to my immediate left were on this show just about a year ago today. They are code enforcement officers for the city of Wenatchee, and the topic at hand is the big recycling event, which is coming up this Saturday. Same location as last year to my immediate Left is John Fairbanks, and to my far left is John Merz. Welcome back to the program, gentlemen. Lance, sorry about it.
Yeah.
Great start so far. Anna arranged all this. Anna, you know Anna at the city.
Right,
In fact, she
right.
works right across the hallway from my brother's office.
Yep.
I was just in touch with Anna a couple of days ago. So it's Lance and John again, right? Lance and John are coming?
Right.
She responded, yes, the dynamic duo. That's what she referred to you as. So that means you have to be dynamic, I guess.
Yeah, we can't be in the same building with them because we're so dynamic.
The charisma is just out, overflows here. Before we get into the big recycling event, how you guys doing? You busy now that we're into the spring and you're getting pretty busy?
Yeah, we're pretty busy. We wrapped up last year, and we were pushing close to 1,000 cases last year. And one of the great things about Wenatchee is we have such a good program in place for code enforcement, and I would say 97% or 970 of those cases were voluntary compliance. So only 30 of them went and were actually had some kind of fine or penalty. So the other 970, there was no fines or penalties. We worked with them, put them in touch with groups that could help them, dump vouchers, however we could get them into compliance. It was all pretty much voluntary.
Good.
Yeah,
That's
so-
probably because Lance is such a cool guy. I'm thinking.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
With all the snow that we had this winter, was it slow for you guys? Were you a little more lax on certain things because, I'd love to get rid of this bad tree that should be gone, but it's winter and I can't. Was there any of that going on, or?
Well, we talked to a lot of people because the storms were so significant and they were so close together. It was always something coming down. So typically with our Wenatchee City Code, snow removal doesn't start until 24 hours after the storm. So with one storm coming after the other, we'd see folks out there shoveling their sidewalks or their driveways or what have you. But our focus was the main arterial areas where the kids were walking to and from school, making sure that those sidewalks were safe for the kids, so they didn't have to walk in the street and then cause a potential traffic accident.
Yeah.
And that is the code is 24 hours after the snow stops falling, right? And that's the problem because the snow didn't stop falling for a while.
And for those existing cases, such as you said, trees, or if there's garbage, the people thought they were sneaky because the snow covered it. We still see that mound there, and so we know it's still there, and we're compassionate towards whatever event's going on. So we push those compliance checks out further until the snow melted.
When you're out and about, what's the percentage of somebody calls and says, I think my neighbor is violating code, as opposed to you're driving around and finding them? What's the percentage of your guys on your daily route are finding code enforcement violations as opposed to those people who are phoning them in?
It's not as high as we'd like to see. We have some great opportunities for people to let us know about violations in the city. We have an app for your Android or iPhone. It's called Go Request. And you can download that, and you can actually take a picture. It GPSes where you're located, and you can report that directly to us. We would love to have more people doing that because citizen comment and referrals is what we'd like, but it's a higher percentage of proactive, because when we go out when someone calls in and says, hey, there's a problem at corner A and B, we look around and check everything because we don't want them to say, well, what about them? So we would love to get more citizen involvement, and we're going to work on some more promotions of citizen referrals. So.
And Lance can address this. You mentioned you had 1,000 cases last year, and only 30 went all the way to the be all end all that you have to do some stuff to really get them. Which is a remarkable percentage. But to get to even those 30, that's extremely rare. And there's a lot of steps that you have to go through to get to the point where we're going to have to fine you, and we're going to clean it up, and we're going to send you the bill. That very rarely happens. I mean, you give everybody every chance in the world to do what they need to do to get back up to code.
We have what we call a code enforcement board, which is a panel of members who are residents of the city of Wenatchee. And the case goes before that board to determine if there are, in fact, violations on the property that are in conflict with the Wenatchee City Code. They vote on it, and when they vote on it to determine that there are those violations, then we proceed further. And every step is between 10 to 14 business days to help with the compliance. And we understand that, there are mitigating factors with certain cases, whether it's money, whether it's, a big project or something like that. And we also have another thing called a voluntary correction agreement, where people understand that there are violations on their property, but they need more time. So they can sign that voluntary correction agreement with the city to say, okay, I'm going to need 30, 60, 90 days or what have you. And then if they need more time, as long as they're making continual progress towards, eliminating those violations on the property, then we work with them. But it is a process, and a lot of folks think, well, I'm going to call this in and I want this done now. It doesn't really necessarily work like that, and we try to work with everybody. And if somebody calls in to complain, we try to keep them abreast of what's going on, because we don't want people to feel like they're not being heard or anything like that. And of course, they want their community to be cleaned up too. As well, and nobody wants to live next to, a neighbor that's not complying.
What's the number one thing on your hit parade? What's the number one nuisance code violation that you see out and about? Abandoned cars, stuff like that? What is it?
It just varies throughout the time of the year. In the springtime, we get a lot of the overgrown vegetation because everything's growing. The April showers bring the Mayflowers and weeds. But as we go throughout the year, there's a lot of illegal dumping in the alleys, and unfortunately, that falls on the adjoining property owner. And we understand that, someone's been a victim of illegal dumping, but we also need to get it cleaned up, because it's the broken window theory. If there's garbage somewhere, someone's going to come and dump more garbage. So we try to get out there and get those alleys and yards cleaned up as fast as we can, so it doesn't just continue to pile up.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, we also have a great working relationship with Waste Management as well. So if you have garbage and you put it in a garbage bag next to your container, Waste Management will pick it up. But if it's a couch, it's probably not going to happen. Wow. And then a lot of residents don't know that they're allowed 4 free dumps a year if the bill is in their name. Mm-hmm. And that's really beneficial to the residents. And that's like a truckload or a dump load, which is couches and mattresses and stuff like that. So they can utilize that to their advantage.
And people should. I mean, I always did.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, I did all the time.
And we've had people cut up couches and put them in their garbage can. It may take a little longer, but we
did that once.
Yeah, they eventually it gets taken away.
My roommate and I, we had a 7-foot couch and we took it to the dump. This was 20 years ago, and they said, you can't throw this in the dump. So we drove off to a vacant lot, and we took a sledgehammer to it and busted it up in a bunch of little pieces, and we drove back. She goes, that's fine now. Yeah. You can do that. Who's the final responsibility for a code violation? Is it the property owner, or if it was a rental house, is it the occupiers of the rental house? Who's the final?
So we typically, it's the property owner. We do have flexibility to go after a tenant, but typically the person with the coin in the game is the property owner, and they're responsible for how their tenants act on that property.
Could that be an issue with, say, if it's an absentee, like the landlord lives in Portland or something like that, and they're never in town, they just collect the check and then you have a problem, or is that really not much of an issue?
So when we go to a property, we look it up in the system. We can tell if it's a rental, and what we do is we will send a letter in the mail to that property owner, and we account for some extra days for a compliance check, because we know it's going to take some time to get there. And then, we work well with the property managers in the valley. A lot of them provide us with a list of their properties so that we can notify the property management company, whatever company that is. So it doesn't have to take, the 3, 4, 5 days to get down to someone in Phoenix or wherever, and they are really good at taking care of the properties.
What about somebody who, like, you're on your deal and you see somebody's building an outbuilding or a shack and they don't have a building permit? Does that fall into your purvey?
Happens all the time.
Does it?
I like to think of our job as basically educators of the code. A lot of folks just don't know what requires a permit or what they can do on their property and what they can't. So when we approach folks, we tell them and inform them of what the city code is, and a lot of times if there's a building, they need a building permit, a lot of times they just don't know. So we'll just say, okay, well, we really need you to come down and apply for a permit, and most of the time they do. So it's there's some repetitive things going on with some folks, but you know, we've identified those folks, and we just continue on with that. But yeah, it's education for sure.
Right. Yeah, there are some frequent flyers on that, and you're not going to earn any miles with us. We're gonna, you know, there is a fine for building without a permit. It's a minimum of $500 or triple the permit fee. Ooh. So it can sting, and you know, if it's a general homeowner and we can make that judgment call whether we think they knew they needed a permit or not. And we're not going to hit everybody with a fine. I mean, that's not what we're out to do.
Most of the time it's, I'm sorry, I didn't know, I'll go get one right now.
Right, and it's about the safety of, you know, they may be living there now, but we want to make sure it's built to code for whoever they sell it to.
Exactly. Wow. Do you guys work as a team? Do you guys, I mean, you guys are out and about, or do you split up, or depending on the work day?
Yeah, we're pretty much like twins.
Yeah,
yeah, we're all over the city together.
Anna, you're the dynamic duo.
Yeah,
So,
and you know, we will call each other and say, hey, I'm going to this property. I'd feel more comfortable with two of us there. Or if we're going to, you know, concentrate on the neighborhood. Like right now we're working a Rondo Ave because Apple Blossom's coming. We want that to look good. So we'll get out and we'll walk the street and we'll, you know, contact any properties that need some help.
And again, we talked about this last year with Lance and John. These are not the bad guys. No. Their job is to make everybody's life better by having a nice, clean neighborhood and a nice, clean city that is aesthetically pleasing.
Right.
And we're not going to make everybody happy.
No.
You know, and that's just the thing. But we're very respectful, and you know, we just want the city to be clean. We want to help protect property values throughout the city. I mean, with the market that we have right now, it's crazy good. You know, but we don't want neighbors living next to neighbors, and you know, that's just something that we advocate too, is talk to your neighbor, help your neighbor.
Yeah.
And more often than not, everybody's doing this and they're not helping each other. We'd like to see more of that, for sure.
Yeah, especially in the wintertime. If you have an elderly neighbor, they simply don't have the physical capability of, say, shoveling their walk, go out and shovel their walk.
Absolutely.
Most people are pretty good about
it.
it.
And you know, for the snow removal, we're past that, thankfully. We do have a volunteer list. So if you have someone that you know is disabled or elderly or for some reason can't do their own sidewalk, we will go out and talk to them, and we kind of vet them, and we will provide them with a list of volunteers.
Yeah. One more question before, we're supposed to be talking about this recycle event, but I'm enjoying talking to John and Lance. One more question, we'll get on to that. Is there a scenario, there's a code violation, it's a minor one, but you got to clean it up, and the homeowner says, I'd love to, I don't have the finances or the wherewithal. Are there like Boy Scout troops or volunteer organizations who'll come out and say, I'll take care of Mrs. Jones because she can't do it herself? Does that fall into your does that happen?
It's a vetting process, but yes, we do have that. We've contacted numerous church organizations that will actually come out and help assist. And for liability purposes, we can't provide tools and stuff like that. But if the homeowner has something like that, the tools and resources to provide that, we can contact that voluntary service, and they can come out and assist with, you know, helping to cut grass or pick weeds or what have you. Yeah.
And as far as the financial part, we do have the ability. We have some dump vouchers. If someone's already exhausted, they're for free dumps. And there's also the CDBG or Community Development Block Grant. There's a little bit of money in there if it's a major cleanup of a property and someone needs a dumpster. We have that available also. So we have a lot of tools in our toolkit.
Yep. And it's all for the betterment of the city of Wenatchee and the citizens of the city of Wenatchee. Let's talk Saturday.
Yay.
It's back again. Who wants to start? Who wants to dive into this baby?
Well, I will dive into it.
On the screen is the items you can bring to the big free recycle event. Why don't you go through that first?
Okay, so what we're collecting there is we're collecting tires. And they can be on the rim. We're not going to turn the rims back to you.
Okay.
We limit that at 10 tires per resident, and you do have to show your proof of residency and bring a utility bill or something like that so we can verify that you are a citizen of Wenatchee, because this is just for the citizens of Wenatchee.
Right.
It's not for commercial businesses and that. You know, like last year we had someone show up with a trailer load of golf cart tires. And that's very difficult because what we do is we team up with Wenatchee Valley College Automotive Tech Club and the Wenatchee Skills Center out there, the tech club out there. And they actually are dismounting those tires from the rims. We recycle the rims, we recycle the tires through a grant through the Department of Ecology. And those golf cart tires are just a hindrance because it's very difficult for them to dismount those. And this is really geared towards our residents of Wenatchee. We also take in appliances, metals. There's no garbage here, no
Yeah, just
chemicals
don't bring
and all
your
that.
household garbage in. That ain't gonna do it.
And then we also can take automotive batteries, and we've teamed up with the YWCA for the e-cycling, and that's your computers, your TVs.
So any old electronics that you don't use
Right,
anymore,
and
okay.
we're not taking like printers and that kind of thing, not the peripherals, just the computers and such. And then we also have teamed up with Stemilt Organic again this year, and they are so awesome to team up with. It gives people an opportunity for free to take 2 truckloads down to Stemilt Organic, and that's your yard waste, your tree branches, and other items like that.
Twigs, leaves, stuff like
Right,
that. Yeah.
right.
So, same location as last year. For you old timers, it was the old Wenatchee Pack place where the old meat packing place was. Big campus, lots of room for everybody to haul their stuff. And by the way, if you have any questions at all, just give them a call and say, can I bring this? And they'll tell you whether you can bring this or not. We can specifically tell you the stuff you can't bring, and to handle that, let's have Lance handle the stuff you can't bring, all right?
So you can't bring propane tanks or pressurized tanks, anything that's hazardous in nature. You can't bring paints, fluorescent bulbs, printers, like John had mentioned, household batteries, garbage, mattresses. Now, if there's going to be certain things in a vehicle that we're going to have discretion on, whether it can come or not. And if it can't go, just leave it in your vehicle and leave the area and then take it to the dump or dispose of it properly for sure.
It's from 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock, and you guys, we've gone down there and filmed a couple of years ago. You're busy the whole time. I mean, it's
Absolutely. We take in approximately 3,200 tires during this 6 hours.
3,200 tires alone?
Right. And typically, like last year, we had to cut it off about noon because we had so many tires come in. So that's why we're strictly limiting it to 10 tires, and that's going to be enforced. And, we keep emphasizing this is for City of Wenatchee residents only. Douglas County is going to have a hazardous chemicals and a tire amnesty program coming up in the near future. So just for those folks over there, be aware that's coming up over there in Douglas County.
Don't forget you have to bring your proof of residence. So bring your a PUD bill is fine as long as it has your address on it and it says that you're in the city of Wenatchee, and some photo ID and you're good to go. So you collect all of this stuff, your batteries, your scrap iron, your refrigerators, your air conditioners, your tires. Then what happens to them all?
You want to talk or you want me to?
Well, go ahead.
Okay.
I'm just curious.
So the tires, we fill up 4 trailers, and those are through a company in Portland, TDR Tire Disposal, and they recycle those tires.
Okay.
All the rims that have been dismounted by the kids, those go to Wenatchee Salvage, metal salvage up there on the up by the airport, and they take all the tires, they take all the appliances and metals. We took in, I think, 72 tons last year of metal.
Yeah, it was
Or
close.
something. I mean, it was quite a bit. A lot of dumpster loads, and then there were I think 2 truckloads. We teamed up with the Salvation Army last year, but they've closed their stores, so that's why it was great to connect with YWCA this year.
Yeah, YWCA is one of the people putting the Wenatchee Valley College, as we mentioned before. Wenatchee Valley Salvage and Recycling, Stemilt, City of Wenatchee. All these people, and you guys, of course, you've been really busy putting this thing on. So.
Right. It's a lot of pre-planning for 6 hours of work. It's kind of like Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
You cook, and 5
The
minutes.
location is on South Wenatchee Avenue, 1745 South Wenatchee Avenue. Again, the old Wenatchee Pack campus is directly across from Mission View Elementary and the old drive-in. You can't miss it.
Right.
You can't miss it.
And
at all.
Stemilt Organic is right near
Right
there
there,
also
too.
at 1435, I believe it is.
Yeah. And again, any questions at all, feel free to call the crew up. They'll let you know what you can and can't bring. And you're in like Flynn. One more question before I cut you. I know you're busy. Those stop work orders, can I have like 5 or 6 of those?
No, sir. No.
Let us know how it goes, will you?
Will do.
It's good to see you. And Anna was right. They are the dynamic duo. Which one's Batman and which one's Robin?
I don't know. We're still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, that's
Lance and John, thanks for joining us.
All right, thanks.
You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
Perfect. Oh.
This is Kerry Condata from the 12th District. We are going in session with direct reports from your legislators in Olympia. We'll get the straight story every week. We'll add the national, state, and local news and have it all wrapped up for you right here on the 12th District. Check it out.
Hey everyone, did you know that the NCW Life channel is North Central Washington's go-to source for news? No matter how you prefer to view your news, NCW Life has you covered. Watch the evening news weeknights on TV, stream it, read it at ncwlife.com, or catch the latest news by following us on Facebook. Stay informed with local news, sports, weather, and shows featuring local people and events. NCW Life, a reflection and a spotlight of the communities we call home.
Spring has arrived here at Town Nissan. So has a new shipment of certified pre-owned vehicles, like this Altima and this Rogue. Each of these vehicles goes through a 167-point inspection. Then we will cover them up to 7 years and 100,000-mile warranty coverage. You'll save thousands on these popular models. How about America's best truck warranty? 5-year, 100,000 miles on the all-new Nissan Titan. Buy smart, own confidence at Town Nissan, behind Costco in East Wenatchee.
Hi, Justin here, owner of Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere. Club Crow is your place for famous blues, brews, and barbecue. We are your one-stop bar and grill, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week. Looking for a fun night out? Join us at Club Crow Saturday nights. We have live bands to rock the night away. Club Crow is bringing comedy to Cashmere. Check out our Facebook page for upcoming dates. Live jam session first Sunday of every month. Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere, the coolest place in town.
Welcome back. We're live here at Studio 7 in downtown Wenatchee on this Tuesday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Dan Kuntz, your host. 46 degrees. The clouds are already beginning to thin out. And we're in for a fairly sunny day, but it's going to be windy. Let's take a look at your forecast one more time from the National Weather Service. And there you go. We started out with clouds this morning. They're gradually going to be dissipating because there's a system that's paying us a visit. And that's going to scour the clouds out, but it's also going to make us, well, darn right windy. In fact, we have a graphic to show you now how windy it's going to be. You'll just have to pick out where you live. And there you go. Yeah, this is the gusts now, not the sustained winds. Sustained winds will this morning be about 5 to 10. We're talking northwest wind, 5 to 10 miles an hour. This afternoon, it'll pick up in intensity, 17 to 22 miles an hour. This afternoon. And what you see there graphically represented is the gusts. That's the occasional wind gusts. And we're looking here in the Wenatchee Valley upwards of 31, 32, 33 miles an hour. And you can see those arrows. That's the direction of the wind. So here comes the wind. It's going to be breezy today. Just plain windy this afternoon. Also windy tonight. It's going to be clear, but the wind is not going to really diminish. The consistent winds, northwest wind will be 11 to 18 miles an hour tonight. On Wednesday, it's still going to be windy. Wind out of the west about 8 to 11 miles an hour, but gusts as high as 31 miles an hour on Wednesday. And then we calm down for the most part with a nice-looking Friday if this forecast holds true. Now, we'll know at this time tomorrow whether the Friday forecast is as good as they say they're going to do. A couple of notes to pass along to you. We set a record for rainfall on Monday. We had 0.21 inches of rain that came down on Monday. It was either overnight Monday and then in the evening hours Monday. During the day yesterday, of course, we didn't really have any rain, but it was enough to set a new record for April 8th. The old record wasn't much. Tenth of an inch of rain was the old record that was set back in 1993, so it didn't take a lot of rainfall to do it, but we did it with 0.21 inches of rain coming down on Monday. So again, sunny and breezy today as the clouds thin out. By about 2 o'clock this afternoon, it'll be all sunshine and very windy. Wind will be sustained tonight, right on into Wednesday. We're going to cloud up Wednesday, but we should be dry. Partly cloudy Thursday, lots of sunshine Friday, and then Saturday we go back to a chance of rain. And then Sunday, partly cloudy, a little bit of light rain. All of these temperatures that you see here, with the exception of Friday, are just slightly below normal, and the overnight lows are pretty much right at normal for this time of the year. All right, that's pretty much a wrap for this Tuesday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Tomorrow via Skype, we'll check in once again with Lisa Bradshaw, the host of Life with Lisa Bradshaw and the Don't Wait Project. Everybody have a great Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.